I know how it feels like to feel stuck. But what if I told you that the position that you are in right now is exactly where you need to be? You are on the edge of transformation. And once you apply this correctly, you will become unstoppable from now on. You probably know that feeling whenever you are thinking about maybe your future and you have a whole vision and a plan ahead of you, or maybe you are thinking about you are doing the work, you're putting in the work right now to become that version of yourself. And then all of a sudden, you just feel stuck. You are constantly thinking about, am I making the right decision? You are sabotaging yourself, or you are not believing in yourself, or you're feeling like you're not worthy enough. This is a very common feeling. And actually, feeling stuck is the point where transformation and the shift lies. And I'm going to explain to you what I mean by this. So, I also, at the beginning of this year, had a moment where I felt extremely stuck. And I felt like I see the vision. I know the shift. I know that my identity is going to change. But something made me feel so extremely stuck. And then all of a sudden, there was a podcast that I heard about Jay Shetty. And in that podcast, he was saying something so extremely profound that I really want to share with you, because this really shifted the narrative for me. Because in that podcast, he explained that you feeling stuck actually means you are grieving the old version of yourself. You feeling stuck means that you're actually grieving the old version of yourself. I'm saying this twice to let it sink in. This means that you're actually having the right way. It always feels when things are not going the way you want to, or something is holding you down, that this is not the right path that you should take. But I want to say to you, this is exactly the path you should take. Because what we do as human beings, we shape ourselves into a comfort zone. And you can see that comfort zone as a little box that we created for ourselves, right? So we are sitting in this box, and this box, it only goes a certain way. So that means that us being in the comfort zone is us being inside of that box. But if you think about it, us as humans too, we always have dreams and desires and goals that we would like to achieve. Those are all things that are thoughts outside of that box, that are bigger, right? That's better, that's out of the comfort zone. This is why it's so good for you that you actually feel like this, because this means that you are getting outside of that little box. And I know it is so extremely uncomfortable. Known always feels extremely unfamiliar. It feels horrible because it's somewhere or something that you're not used of. Only thing that comforts you is that own comfort zone that you created, right? So all of those dreams, goals, that vision that is outside of that box, it feels unreachable. But we can never grow inside of that little box. So we only need to step out of it and create more for ourselves, because we are not meant to stay stuck in that little box. You can do that, but if you do that, then you don't ever grow, you don't ever transform, and you're never getting out of life what you actually want. So this means that the uncomfortableness is exactly the spot that we need to be in. If you look at successful people, because a lot of successful people, they always talk about the way they achieved success. They always say that till this day, it doesn't matter how many times they've spoken to thousands of people. It doesn't matter how many books they've accomplished. It doesn't matter how many seminars they gave, how many whatever they're doing. They always still feel some type of fear. We as humans have positive emotions and negative emotions. Those are emotions that are always going to be there. The difference between successful people and you is that those people observe that emotion, but they don't act on it. They see the fear, they see the doubt, they see the self sabotage, they see the negativity, they see the negative self talk, but they never act on it because you decide to take control of your own life. You should not let emotions control you. They are there. We can observe them, but we should not let them control us. We are all capable of the same. It's more, how much do you want it? How much do you believe in yourself? Another thing that is very common is that we start to compare ourselves to other people, which makes us feel even more stuck. Comparison is the thief of all joy. We don't know what other people have went through to get to the beautiful position that they're in right now. Do you think that they never felt stuck before? Do you think that they never felt fear? Do you think that they never felt self-doubt? They experienced all of these emotions. The only difference is that you don't see it because people normally always celebrate their accomplishments, their destination, but they never show you the journey, which means that we think that their journey was linear, perfect, or it went fast, or this, or that, and the third. But we never see what else failed, how their emotions were, how their businesses failed, how they failed, how they went through stuff with their family, with their friends. We never know. So this is why it's so important to focus on your journey. You should really believe in yourself and your capability to achieve what you would like to achieve. We are not put here to live in a small box and never get outside of our comfort zone. You can stay in that little box, but then I hate to break it to you, you won't live. You won't experience life. You won't transform. You won't grow. So you feeling stuck means that you're grieving the old version of yourself. So you see yourself already. You've shifted that identity already. You see yourself in the future. All you need to do is act on it. Observe the situation, but see it as a blessing. See it as fuel, drive to go to the place where you would like to go. You deserve to become the person that you would like to be. We all know that whenever we're trying something new, that it feels so extremely uncomfortable. But eventually, you will get used to it and it will become part of your identity. So I'm going to give a little example to you. So whenever I started my running journey, right, I still envisioned myself at that point and I felt so uncomfortable because I was like, my endurance is so low. I could not even run for 5 to 10 minutes. It was something that felt so outside of my comfort zone. But I said to myself, I want to challenge myself. I want to challenge myself to become bigger, better, because I have a vision of who I would like to be in the future, which means that I see myself doing things that make me feel uncomfortable and eventually will become part of my identity and part of my life. And now I can honestly say, 8 months later, that it is part of my life. This is why I'm saying to you, we all have certain examples of like things that we wanted to do, new things that were so uncomfortable at the beginning, that felt so unfamiliar. But eventually we did them and now they are part of our lives. Now they are part of us, which means that we can go through anything. Never play it small in your life because you are not meant for small. You are meant for big. Another thing I want to touch on is how life is challenging you, but it's always challenging you in the right way. And sometimes it feels so unfair, but it's all for a good reason. Because you probably know that familiar feeling of you wanting to accomplish something, you having a certain goal. And right before it's actually going to happen and it's going to flourish and it's going to become your life, you will always get challenged. You will always, right beforehand, feel like, is this actually the right way? Is this what I need to do? This is God, the universe, however you want to call it, testing you to see if you actually want to do it. This is the moment where you need to stick with your vision. Don't give up whenever you're feeling uncomfortable, because you going through all the uncomfortableness will eventually get you to that position. But you need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in that you're guided. You need to believe in that this all is all for a reason and for you learning and growing and evolving. And then trust me, you'll be so proud of yourself because you stuck with your vision, even though that you felt stuck, fear, doubt, whatever emotion that came up, you stuck with it. The feeling that you're having right now is exactly where you need to be. Don't be harsh on yourself. Observe it, take it in, and move further, because your goals, your dreams, and your desires are so close to you, and you are capable of everything that you want in life. And you really need to lock that in. You need to trust the emotions, observe them, know that it is not you, and continue. If this resonated with you, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.